think about the Israel-Palestine situation now?
In a simple word, it's a tragedy, of course. My solidarity is always with the church, and the church exists in Palestine and it exists in Israel. The reality is that the issue is deeply and profound. It's a mess. It's super complicated. I think Christians shouldn't fall into the trap of just being pro-Israel, and we shouldn't fall into the trap of being pro-Palestine. We should be pro-church, and that means that where Israel hurts the church through its security blanket, that we so where Israel damages the church and because of its security blanket, or oppresses the church because of its security blanket, we should condemn Israel and we should challenge Israel. But the reason why there is such a strong security blanket is because of Islamist terrorists. And whereas Israel is a pain and a cause of suffering to the local church in the Middle East, these Islamists are an existential threat to Christians everywhere. They're never going to be satisfied with just destroying Israel. They'll persecute Christians everywhere.
Do you think that their attack overall is justified or not?
No. The attack, the attack, if Palestine wants to win this fight against Israel, they've got to go the hard way. And the hard way is just to consistently document the injustices and abuses of the Israeli state and expose it to the world without violence. Let me explain why. Because the West is the only thing that props up Israel. It's the only thing. But as Gandhi showed to the British, and as Martin Luther showed to the Americans, the Western mindset is open to being sympathetic to non-violent resistance. Now, that will not achieve the goods in any quick time, and there will be a lot of suffering that will happen on that road. But that is the only way you're going to beat Israel, because the thing is, when Hamas did what it did, it basically has now legitimized to the world that Israel can now respond, and Israel's going to fuck up the Gaza Strip. So Hamas has now made the plight of the Palestinians worse.
In a way.
Yes.
But wouldn't you say there comes a certain point where the harassment and the injustices done by Israel to the Palestinians, to a point where
you mean like the apartheid? You mean like the apartheid in America?
Like
but
in South Africa, when the harassment stuff was so bad that Nelson Mandela had to actually use violence to achieve their goal.
Yeah, but the ANC, when they turned to violence in South Africa, they didn't win. The thing that won was that that was not it. That was not it. It was the fact that the press highlighted the abuses of South Africans where there was no justification. If the Palestinians want to win their fight against Israel for against any injustices, the only way that they're going to win it is using non-violent resistance.
So, do you believe in a two-state?
So let me just finish that answer. That doesn't mean that I'm a pacifist, but I believe that just war can only be prosecuted when there's a reasonable chance of victory. Right? Palestine has no reasonable chance of victory against a state that's backed by the US. Biden came out and said anyone who tries to take advantage of this situation has to deal with the US. So in other words, until someone's bigger than the USA, or until the USA stops backing Israel, there is no military victory against Israel.
Agreed.
So that means, right, but if you know that, then you should be calling for Hezbollah and Hamas to put down their weapons. Are you willing to do that?
No.
Right, and so
I think their violence is justified.
Right, so what you're saying, then is that you are happy to see the suffering of the Palestinians continue.
No.
Because there is only one way you can win, and you're not willing to take that road.
No, but I think they've already tried that road for loads of years.
When?
So
which year?
As in the Palestinians.
Yeah.
There are pages on Instagram, on Twitter, saying every single day they upload pictures and videos of Palestinians being punched up, being hurt, blah blah blah, and that has never ever worked.
Right, hold on.
So I think it's seen now. It's like
no,
this is enough.
This is not accurate.
We tried to go and attack.
Right. Firstly, there's never been a single year in the whole of Israel's existence where it hasn't been attacked by Palestinian terrorists. Never, not one. No, let me finish. Not a single year. Well, let me finish. So when you try to point a camera at people getting harassed by Israeli security services, but in the context of a terrorist insurgency, you undermine your own argument. And that's the problem. The reason you're committed. If you're just gonna talk over me, I'll just start talking over you. Your commitment to the use of violence is ensuring that the Palestinian people never win. You've already admitted the logic of my argument that Israel is too powerful because it's backed by the USA, so there is no military option of victory. Under the just war principle, if there is no reasonable chance of victory, you can't fight a war. Because fighting a war, when you can't win, just ensures more destruction.
That would be the same thing with South Africa as well. They had no reasonable chance of.
And they didn't win because of the ANC.
Because of the media. Yes,
Right,
no.
they won because of non-violent resistance. It was not. The ANC did not topple the South African state.
Really? I mean, Gaza isn't trying to do that.
Right, and the ANC.
They're not idiots, right?
Right, and the ANC.
They do realise that if they attack, they won't win.
And the ANC did not achieve a military victory.
Yes,
Right.
I know. I agree with you.
So all they did then is kill
In
people.
Gaza's the same thing.
So all they did then is kill people.
Yeah, to what?
To no end.
To achieve.
No, but they
media.
didn't achieve it.
Media.
No.
Yes, it was.
Right, so.
In the end, ANC.
No,
did.
I'll tell you. Shall I tell you what brought the media's attention? Right, it got nothing to do with terrorism. It had everything to do with the black community in America, and the black American community struggle for their own freedom. And these two things spilled out into what the discourse about South Africa. It was also because lots of groups in the Commonwealth, because remember South Africa was in the Commonwealth at the time, that lots of groups in the Commonwealth were black. And so they were objecting to the idea of South Africa. So it was solidarity amongst people, peacefully pushing all the right buttons to the right politicians that led to the end of the apartheid in South Africa. It was the peaceful resistance of Martin Luther King that led to the end of the apartheid in America. It was the peaceful resistance of Gandhi that defeated the British Empire. There's no, the doctrines, the advice of our two doctrines is you think jihad is the answer. I think just war says that you can't fight the war, because there's no reasonable chance of victory. So that leaves non-violent resistance. And the thing is, if the Palestinians, let me be very clear to you, if the Palestinians were fighting this fight purely from a non-violent position, I would be on the side of the Palestinians. But because the Palestinians are in bed with jihadi scum and jihadi filth, these Islamist dogs that should be shot, I support Israel's right to shoot them. And I support Israel's right to topple Hamas right now. So I hope.
Be very hard because I don't.
Yeah,
think
I'm going to be very clear. I hope Israel invades Gaza.
It won't.
I hope it does.
No, but if it does, it's
Yeah,
a lot.
I hope that they absolutely fuck up Hamas.
But then it'll kill a lot
Right.
of innocents as well, right?
And I believe Hamas has brought that on the Gaza Strip.
But it's the
And it's Hamas that is responsible for any destruction now that happens to the Gaza Strip.
But it could be the same thing.
So I will support Israel to fight Hamas.
But then would you support Hamas fighting Israel?
No, because right, I'll tell you why.
Because if you're on one side,
I'm going to explain. Because Hamas is an Islamist group that wants to persecute Christians and does persecute Christians, and for that reason, and yes, and Christians live in fear and they are persecuted and discriminated by the Hamas government because Hamas sees them as dhimmis, and dhimmis are second-class citizens. So, for that reason, I will not support Hamas.
Let's say for the sake of argument, you're an atheist, you have no religion. You're a completely biased dude. You come in, you have a look at Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
Who would you support? Not taking Christianity or Islam or any other religion in your mind.
I would still support Israel.
Right.
Because Hamas, everyone who makes a genuine assessment of that situation knows that if the terrorists all put down their guns tomorrow, there'll be peace tomorrow. If Hamas and Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad. Can I finish up? Right, if all of these terrorist, Islamist, filthy dogs, right, were all to surrender tomorrow and say, right, we're going to give up, no more violence. Tomorrow there would be peace. Let me finish. Tomorrow there would be peace in the sense there would be no bombs, right? But if Israel was to say that it would surrender and wouldn't fight, there'd be no more Israel. And that's the reason why, even if I was an atheist, I would still support Israel.
I would say two statements. If Hamas wins, I'm pretty sure he won't just kick out every single Israeli in that land.
They will.
Firstly, there's more Israelis than Palestinians there now anyways.
Yes, that is true.
Means there's more of them.
So it's their land, right? So it's their land, right?
No, because if there's more... America, when they came in, were there more Americans or native Americans?
Great, now we've established that principle. One second. Well, now that we've established that principle, when are the Muslims going to give us back Syria, Egypt and North Africa, since you stole that land from us in conquest?
That makes no sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Because that was how much years ago? And it wasn't yours anyways. The Byzantine Empire expanded as well.
Yeah, of course.
It went into Persia.
So we're saying if...
They took Egypt from Persia.
So where's the cut-off point? How many... Right, so one second.
That happens
go on, yeah.
Stuff that happened 1,000 years ago is no longer cared about. Right.
So it's 1,000 years, that's your cut-off point.
It's really an argument, no, but you know.
So wait, one second. So by your logic, we're saying if Israel holds on to its land for 1,000 years, it stops being Muslim and it becomes Israeli land. Is that what you're saying?
1,000 years isn't a guideline. I'm just saying.
No, I'm asking you for the guideline.
I don't know.
Right. When though? Because what your argument was, well, it happened a long time ago. So let's imagine. One second. Let's imagine, right? Let's imagine that we're having this conversation 1,000 years in the future, right? And somehow the problem is still going on, right? By your logic, does that mean that Israel now owns the land?
Right, I'm not saying the 1,000 years is the guideline.
So when?
I don't know.
Right, but what you're saying a long time, so 1,000 years is a long time. Right, so would that mean that Israel then owns the land?
Expanded as well.
Does that mean that Israel now owns the land?
You do realise that?
Are you going to answer that question?
Empire's expanded.
You're not going to answer that question.
Say that.
Right. Well, I said to you, right, okay, the land, right, that you said, no, the land belongs to the Palestinians. And then I said, okay, so when are you, Muslims, going to give us back Syria and Egypt and North Africa? And you said, no. We took those countries a long time ago. So by your logic, if you're consistent, if Israel owns the land for a long time, does it become the Jewish land?
Your example about the Christian empire. The Christian empire is expanded as well.
Yes.
The Persian Empire was part of it.
Yeah, it was conquered by the Persians. No. They took it from us and we took it back.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, that's what happened in Heraclius in the 7th century.
The Roman Empire was a pagan empire. When Christianity came around, spread, blah, 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 you guys firstly forced it upon people.
No, we didn't. That's also false. That's false.
Yes, you did.
That's false.
Because
who?
The Byzantine and the other
Can I help you? Let me help you. Right. So the time that you're talking about is Theodosius II or Theodosius I, right? Right. So that was in the 5th century when Christianity became the religion of empire. But it wasn't the case that people were forced into the faith in the sense of at knife point.
So what?
Well, what happened was that the only religion of the state was Christian, so you couldn't hold a public office unless you were a Christian.
There we are.
That's what Theodosius said. Yeah, right. But I want to point you to at least appreciate your inconsistency. Give me an argument that says that land belongs to Palestine that doesn't mean that we Christians can have Syria and Egypt back.
That land, because the people in there lived there for thousands of years.
Okay, so the Christians have lived continuously in Syria and Egypt for thousands of years. So the land is theirs.
Converted.
Right.
Yes or no?
Right.
Which means they
most
are
of them
still there.
Yeah. So
which means if they converted, it's the same people they've converted to another religion.
Right. So if so therefore what we're saying
if
is
the Palestinians
became Jews,
Judaism,
so then it would be their land, and it would no longer be Muslim land. So that's what we're saying. So if the Palestinians become Jews,
if every single one became a Jew for some reason,
and what happens if some don't? What happens if a good 40% don't?
But that isn't the case with Arabs. Just how
Well,
much Christians are there?
Right.
in
But
Arabian land?
people need
10%.
to recognise how Christians in that world got into that state. It was because they were treated second-class citizens and oppressed.
They weren't oppressed.
Yes, they were.
Extra tax.
I'm afraid that's not true.
Why not?
Yeah, because this is the point. These Dawah
Wouldn't
like,
it be
bro,
the same thing with
you
Christian
should know.
states?
You should know.
The same, all right, wait.
Can I finish? Can I?
Let's speak for a long time. Please.
Do you want to time this?
Just
Do you want to
one.
time this?
No, please.
Shall we time this?
Just-
Right? Shall we
Just
time
one
this?
thing, just one thing. No, I'm fine.
Right, I'm gonna let you finish your point, and then I'll make a point. Go
When
on.
Spain conquered back, when the Christian empires conquered back Spain, which fair enough, it was yours, we came in, blah blah blah. What happened after that? Weren't
Right.
the Muslims that converted back into Christianity?
Okay.
If you want, you were killed. Yes or
Right.
no?
So what
The Spanish
happened?
Inquisition, sorry.
So what happened after that? It wasn't done immediately.
Sure.
There was a debate about what to do with the Muslims. And there were two arguments that would go forward. One was, right, let's drive them out. The other one was, let's forcibly convert them. And the other one was, let's convert them through free choice.
Don't tell me it's the free
Right?
choice one.
Right?
Come on.
The argument that won with the king, right, those arguments were all being argued by the church. There were those three positions. The argument that won with the king was, let's forcibly convert them all. And so what happened to the Muslims in Spain is where they were forcibly converted. I disagree with that. I object to that. I think that was terrible, right? That population became known as moriscos, i.e. the secret Muslims, because we knew that they'd not really converted, but they were just putting on the outward act because they were afraid. There were genuine converts amongst them, especially in the second and third generation. But then what happened is many of the moriscos were forced out. Right, because they left.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So that now I'm being honest, but here's the difference. You're not being honest. Right?
Which country?
No, let me finish. Let me finish. No. I let you speak. Let me finish, because you're not being honest. What happened? What? Right. What happened? What happened under the Umayyads and the Abbasids was that Christians were second-class citizens, in which they were not allowed to practice their faith freely, and this is certainly true under the Ottomans, where Christians. I'll finish what I'm saying. Where Christians were denied rights, where they would pay heavier taxes in jizya than Muslims would pay in zakat. Thank you for admitting that, because Muslims out here lie about that all the time. They would have their children forcibly kidnapped in the case of the Ottomans. Churches would be desecrated. Christians would be forbidden from practicing their faith fully, and any Muslim who became a Christian or wanted to become a Christian wouldn't be allowed to. They were treated as apartheid, so a Muslim man couldn't marry a Christian man couldn't marry a Muslim woman. Christians weren't allowed to have authority over Muslims. Christians weren't allowed to have Muslim slaves, but all the reverse was permitted. Under that persecution, constantly for 1400 years, the church was eroded. So let's be honest. Let's be honest. Yeah, it's still there now because of their resilience, not because of any favour done to them by Muslims.
If they were forced, it won't be there, will it?
No, I never. But I've never made the claim
I agree.
that Muslims forcibly, except for Hakim. Hakim, he was the caliph, the mad caliph from Egypt.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he took it to a whole new level.
It's called the mad one for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But my point to you is that all he did is sit on a spectrum and then take it to its logical conclusion. That spectrum was there in Islamic texts, in the Quran, in the Hadiths. Can you show me any verse in the Bible that says I should force you to become a Christian?
Right. Sorry? Any verse in the Bible?
And is there any verse in the Bible that says that I should force you to become a Christian?
That isn't the same in the Quran either.
No, but there are. Hold on one second. Yeah, you're not following the logic of the argument.
Yes.
You're not following the logical of the argument.
Obligation in religion.
Right. But the argument that I made was that Muslims discriminated against Christians, and I can show you in the Hadiths and the Quran where that's commanded.
In the Quran, the main thing is to pay the jizya. Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah.
Well, what else is there?
So it's in 930. I think it's in 931, and it's also in your Hadiths, right?
Sure.
Right.
And
Are you
allowed
aware
to-
that the jizya can go up to 50%?
I don't know about the exact.
Right, but it's not equivalent to zakat, is it? It doesn't have to be equivalent to
I'm saying
zakat.
it is. I've already said this. I
Yeah,
agree.
good, because lots of Muslims try to pretend that it is, and that's a lie of Dawagandists.
Huh?
That's a lie of Dawagandists.
Tell me that.
A Dawagandist is someone who lies about Islam to make it look favourable and nice.
Is that a new name?
It's a new name we gave to all the Dawagandists here in the park.
Right.
You know?
My point is that in Islam, you can't desecrate a church. You agree with that or not?
Of course, I
There's a
agree.
church there, you cannot destroy it. Or
But Muslims do desecrate. No, hold on one second. One second.
Right.
Wait. They
Muslims,
did.
but Islam
They did.
does Islam.
They did. They did desecrate.
Yes, some Muslims. I'm not saying anything. It's similar to
Muhammad
Christians.
himself desecrated the Kaaba.
There?
They desecrated the
He was a
Kaaba.
pagan, come on.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's okay to desecrate pagan temples. Is that what you're saying?
That's the same with Christianity.
Yeah,
as well.
Christians. I'm not. Christians. I have no problem with the
Desecrating
saints.
pagans.
Yes, got no problem with that. Right. But Muslims themselves, I could give you a list, bro, of churches that Muslims desecrated.
Muslims, not Islam.
Yeah. Right.
Agree. But it's the same thing. I could be like in this Palestinian position. I can give you lists of laws that were made against Islam that were forced.
And in the Pact of
those are
Umar,
individuals.
and in the
Same thing with the first
what's the Pact of
Crusade
Umar?
war,
What's the Pact of Umar?
when it came to Jerusalem.
Right. What was the Pact of Umar? It was actually, I think it was right. So no, it wasn't freedom of religion.
Sorry, it was
You're going to live as a second-class citizen.
pay your jizya.
Yeah.
Have your church.
Right. No, but that's not. You see,
So
one
what
second.
was
No,
the
let me
Pact?
finish. They also said, can't ring the bells in the sound of the Muslim. Your prayers can't be heard in the sound of the Muslim. You have to give up. You have to open up your homes if a Muslim wants to stay there. Then this is in the Pact of Umar. It's not my fault you don't know what. Right? You couldn't have weapons. You couldn't ride horses. You couldn't. You had to wear special clothes that made you stand out as a Christian, a yellow belt.
That is true.
Right? So the Pact of Umar reduced the rights of Christians and made them into second-class citizens. Is that true?
I don't believe. I mean, I'll need to.
Is
check
it
the-
true?
I need to check the facts because now I'm taking your word for it. Right? I'm taking your word. I'm sorry, Bob.
Well, that's what you're asking everyone else to do. We're asking us to believe that the Pact of Umar was just about.
I'm not asking anything.
yeah.
But if you compare this to the first crusade of the Christians games, what happened then?
Right. So what happened in
That
the
was very fair.
So what happened in the Crusader states is not particularly known to Muslims. Are you aware that the Crusader states had a population of Muslims that was 30%?
First crusade.
30.
What happened
30.
when they entered
Wait, one second.
Jerusalem?
Yeah, we know about. Wait, one second.
answer it.
I will. Right. So historians don't believe the testimony about the massacre in Jerusalem. The reason what I'm talking. Look, I'll give you even a name. Dr. Oh, flipping heck. Dr. Schroeder.
Right.
Dr. Schroeder, right?
So one doctor. Right.
That's more than you've got.
You can search.
So
up
give
right
me-
now
give
what's
me-
happened
give-
when
wait.
the Crusaders entered
Yes,
Jerusalem.
and then you can
Every
research,
website would be
and then you can
massacre,
research,
massacre,
and then you can research what the historians actually believe happened, and you can go, hold on a minute, what's happening here is a bit of medieval Latin propaganda, i.e., it is propaganda to encourage people to the cause of the crusade. It is propaganda saying, look, God has given us such great victory that the blood of our enemies went up to our ankles. It's just propaganda, my friend. It's propaganda.
Saying that, but
Right, one
you
second.
know very
One second.
well.
Dr. Schroeder also says this.
That's one person. man.
Let me finish. And how many have you got?
I can search it up now.
Right, go on then. Go on
You
then.
really want me to
Right,
search
yeah,
it
go
up
on then.
and search it
Go
up?
on then. Right.
Really?
Yes, go on, because you're saying that's just one person.
You can just search it up.
Yeah, go on then. Go on
First
then.
Crusade, there you are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I want a historian's opinion,
Brother,
not a
it's on-
website's
it's
opinion.
on there. It's
Right, well, go on then.
every website has
Find
it.
me a historian then.
I don't, bro, I
Find
don't
me a
have to
historian.
research historians. Come on,
Right.
man.
So anyway,
Like Dr.
let me go back to
Bob
Dr. Schroeder. Right, what she says. Yeah, that one more person that I have, so she, that you don't have. One academic opinion that I have of a real historian who specialised in the crusade, the states, that you don't have. Right? So that's one more than you. And what she says is that the Muslim population of the Crusader states was 30%, and Muslims outside of the Crusader states recognised that the Muslims inside of the Crusader states, the poor, were treated better by the Christians than they were by their own rulers.
Nice.
So I am fully in favour of a Crusader state because you will be treated better by Christian rulers than by Muslim rulers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's what Muslims said at the time. At the time of the Crusades. At the time of the Crusader saints. That's how. Yes, of course there was. There were massacres.
So
yeah. I'm not lying. But it wasn't. But it wasn't. But the point.
That's much easier than I thought.
But the point is, bro, it's not the way that it was exaggerated in the Latin propaganda, right? The descriptions of the massacre were grossly exaggerated, right?
Maybe.
Right. Yes, that's the opinion of historians. See, the difference is, I'm arguing from academics. You're arguing from catchphrases. So why did you make the argument if you've not researched it?
I've just said it because it's a well-known thing, isn't it? The first crusade, you know.
Yeah.
And you've admitted as well.
In Surah 931, he says that the Christians are to pay the jizya and to feel themselves humiliated. How do you humiliate someone?
How do I humiliate someone?
Yeah, how do you humiliate someone?
Beat them up.
Beat them up?
But that wasn't the case.
Right. Well, no, actually, that's not true, because in Andalusia...
In the Quran...
No, hold on one second.
You can beat up.
Let me explain. Because you and I both know, remember, you're not speaking to some ignorant novice out there. You and I both know that the way that Sharia works is that they take a Quranic verse, they take a hadith, and they come up with fiqh. And they say within fiqh, and they have manuals of fiqh about what is legally permitted given the source texts. And in Andalusia, under the vile, disgusting Islamic occupation, Christians were grabbed by their beard. When they had to pay the jizya, they were grabbed by their beard and slapped about the head. I know your beard's too short, right? Right? But answer this question. The Quran says under an Islamic state, Christians are to be humiliated. How would you humiliate someone? You said probably beat them up. How else would you humiliate them?
I don't know, my friend. I don't think about how to humiliate people.
Well, I'm asking you to think about it now. You're an intelligent guy. How would you humiliate someone if you wanted to humiliate them?
Beat them up. That would be
beat them up. What about restricting the right to practice their faith?
That wasn't the case, though, is it?
Yes, it was. Once again, you lied.
Churches.
Are
you allowed to pray in your church?
Right. So let me explain. Let me explain. Right.
You're not allowed to ring bells. I do.
So here's what happened in Andalusia. Right. Christians were not allowed to repair their churches. They weren't allowed to build new churches. Let me finish. They were not allowed unless they had. Let me explain. They were not allowed to repair, because it comes from the Pact of Umar. It comes from the Pact of Umar, which became the standard practice, in which it states that churches can't be repaired without the permission of the Caliph. Right.
So
right.
says you're right.
And the Caliph never gets around to giving permission to repairs. Right? New churches were not allowed to be built in an area of a mosque. So when Christians started building a church, because it's not like in those days you asked for planning permission, you just started building, the Muslims would just build a mosque and then suddenly the church couldn't be built there. So that's the kind of thing that happened. So these were actions of humiliation that the Quran instructs. Now here's the difference, bro. You pointed out bad things that Christians did to Muslims, right? There's no denying it. These things happened historically. But you can't show me a single verse in the New Testament that justifies that. I can point, let me finish. I'll come to that, right? But I can show you the verses in the Quran and the Hadiths that where it justifies the mistreatment of Christians. Firstly, the principle of humiliation. Is it humiliating someone a good way or a bad way to treat someone?
Depending on what they've done.
Right. Would you humiliate a fellow Muslim who hasn't committed a crime?
No.
Right. Would you humiliate a Christian in an Islamic state that hasn't committed a crime other than being a Christian?
No, but that is not the case.
So, all right, because say why. Say.
Paying an extra tax. That's it.
No, it doesn't say that. It says pay the jizya and feel themselves humiliated. Why are you lying?
Brother, it's just a tax.
No, it doesn't say that in the Quran. Shall I show you in the Quran?
No, forget it.
I'll show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you because you're lying now. You're lying about your own. You're lying about your own. Does it say they should feel themselves humiliated?
I don't know.
Then let me show you.
Right. Even though, how much is the tax rate here?
The tax rate here is 20%.
20% over 12k, and then after it goes up and up. Right?
Yeah. 12,800, I think.
The normal person that earns probably like 40k will probably pay about 40% of tax. Yeah, yes or no?
No, between
Tax
12 and
national
50,
insurance.
between 12 and 50, it's 20%.
national insurance.
Between 12 and 50, it is 20%.
20%. And then after that, 12.
Then after that, it goes up.
no,
Over
no.
50,
And national
there's another
insurance-
bracket.
National insurance.
National insurance doesn't count as an income tax. National insurance is our
Now
equivalent.
having a financial
Wait,
license,
yeah,
don't
now
have a
national insurance is our equivalent of zakat.
Zakat.
Yes, because it's a redistributive tax. The point of national insurance is that it pays for your pensions, and everybody gets it. Everybody contributes to the pension pot, and everybody gets a state pension.
die.
So it's a redistributive tax. Well, that's
if
the
you
true
die,
for
you don't
zakat.
go with it.
That's true for zakat.
What? Zakat. Yeah, if you die, you don't.
And
get it back.
and our system, right? Let me just show you. Let me just show you.
Bob, it's fine. All right, I believe you, Bob. You're not
Does it say humiliated?
Which version is it? So I am.
Abdullah Yusuf Ali.
Who the hell is that?
I'll tell you who he is.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
What's the verse?
All right. So we're going to 931. Right.
Where is it? 931, you said?
Yep. In this translation, it says, feels themselves subdued.
Bro, you're choosing the translations very carefully.
I am. And let me give you my example why.
931, you said, yeah?
Yeah. So while you're finding it, right, it says very clearly, fight those who believe not in Allah nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden which Allah hath been forbidden by Allah and his messenger, nor acknowledge the religion of truth from among the people of the book. So here's a very direct command of the Quran, commanding Muslims to wage war against Christians and Jews just for being Christians and Jews. Then it goes on and says, until they pay the jizya, and then you said
What's the verse, please?
931. Oh, 929. My apologies, 929.
I was about to...
Yeah, 929. Right? So in 929, right, it says, yeah, and then it goes on. Then
No, you're lying. Until they pay the jizya with willing submission.
with willing.
willing.
That's your translation.
That is my
Right?
translation.
Here
And
it says
and it's the
subdued.
translation of the Medina.
Right?
It's a
Now
hate
let's read some
Medina.
tasfir. Let's read some tasfir. Right? Let me give you some tasfir.
You got caught, haven't you?
Yeah. Let's look at some tasfir. So in Tasfir al-Sadi, he says this.
Who?
Tasfir al-Sadi.
Al-Sadi.
He says this. The point of this fighting is so non-Muslims turn over wealth that is given in return for Muslims not fighting them and allowing them to stay amongst the Muslims, granting them safety for their lives and property. Right? It also, yes, exactly. It's a racket, right? So
Which, by the way,
wait, it's a racket.
One last thing, brother, please.
Yeah, go on.
Were Muslims allowed to live in Christian states? Ever?
Yes.
Muslims were allowed to build mosques and pray in a mosque in England.
I'll do even better, bro.
Elizabethan England,
I'll do even better.
during the same time.
Let me finish, right? In the 7th century, obviously, in the 10th and the 11th century, the Byzantines were essentially winning the war against Islam until the Seljuk Turks, right? The Arabs were beaten. The Byzantine armies were advancing back into the east. They were liberating land. They were liberating Christian populations. They were obviously taking prisoners of war. The Byzantines actually, in Constantinople, built for the prisoners of war a mosque. We built it for them, and they were allowed to worship there. Right? Prisoners of war. Let me finish. They were retrieving land that had been previously occupied by Muslims. Muslim mosques were not, on the whole, they weren't all confiscated, they weren't all taken, and Muslims were still worshipping in mosques that under the rule of the Byzantine Empire. So to answer your question, yes.
Can I please ask?
There you go.
What happens in England, Spain, France, all the other Christian states over there?
Right,
If
so-
you're a Muslim, you know very well you get burnt at the stake. You know this.
No, that's not true.
Yes, you do.
No, hold on.
God, please.
Once again, that's a lie.
All right.
That's a lie.
Let's say now it's 1260. I go on a trip to Germany, so not Germany, the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah.
I pray right here in the streets in front of everybody.
Yep.
In an Islamic way. What the hell happens?
Okay, you'll have to show some evidence of what happens to you. You got any?
Come on. You know very well.
Have you got?
Killed.
Have you got? No, that's not
you
true.
get killed. Yes,
You're saying that because that's what happened to Christians in the Muslim world. No, that is what happened to Christians in the Muslim world, and that's why you assume that that's what Christians did. Have you got any evidence?
Brother,
Have you got any evidence?
you would
Right.
burn people for over-
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. There's an episode, since you mentioned the 12th century, there's an episode of the Christians from Egypt going on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem.
Christians
Right?
from Egypt
Going on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. That from Egypt to Jerusalem under the Islamic, they'd got permission from the Caliph to do it. Right? You know what happened? Do you know what happened? There was a riot by Muslims that attacked those Christians and killed loads of them, sent the whole pilgrim. So the reason why you're saying that Muslims would be killed if they went to the Holy Roman Empire is because that's how Muslims behave towards Christians in the Islamic world, and you're assuming. And here's the difference. Here's the difference. Brother, here's the difference. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. When I tell you that story, I can quote historical sources next week, because I haven't got them on me now, but I'll get them for you.
With Baldwin.
But can you?
What happened when Baldwin's vassal, of course, it's like Reynaldo Chatsleon, he went and attacked Muslim pilgrims heading to Mecca.
And was punished for it. You're getting your history.
Yes or no?
You're getting your history from a movie.
Yes or no?
You're getting your history from a
it's
movie.
not. It's real.
Yeah, I know it's based.
It is real.
Yes, and what happened to him?
He went to prison, cool.
Yes,
But
he
then
was
got
punished.
released afterwards, and then
How
he
many
got
of those
released.
Muslims
And then
that
he got
attacked
released.
Christians were punished? None.
How do you know?
None. Shall I
When
tell you
this
why?
is-
I will bring them to you. I will bring them to you. Because the difference is, you're talking to someone who knows history, right? And all you've got is Islamic propaganda.
I'm just 20,
Right.
like, I don't...
Yeah, but bro, the thing is, right, you're 20, yeah?
Yeah.
You, as a young man, I want to tell you that it's more important for you to discover and stand on truth than it is to win arguments.
Do you realise the stuff that I watch isn't Islamic people? Have you heard of Kings and Generals?
Yes. It's a great, I love the YouTube
Right?
channel. I watch it all the time. Yeah.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
Is it run by Muslims?
No.
Thank you very much.
Is it run by historians?
No, but I'm pretty sure they do take their stuff from history.
Right.
Using everything they said.
So if we're doing Trumps on YouTube channels, if we're doing Trumps on YouTube
I'm
channels,
just saying,
no,
it's
one
quite
second.
great.
If you're doing Trumps on YouTube channels, Trumps, right? You know Trumps,
Yes.
like yeah, right. If you're doing Trumps on YouTube channels, you should look at Real Crusader history. The reason why you look at Real Crusader history is because there are actual historians involved in Real Crusader history. Historians who specialise in questions about the Crusades. And that's why we know that the Crusades were a response to 7 centuries of Islamic aggression. And were justified. Right? Yeah, he seems to love you. Whatever perfume you're wearing, bro, you need to change because you're attracting the wrong kind of insect. Yeah? Right, so now let me, I've been fair enough to dig into your question. Now I want to ask you a question. Why should we be grateful to Allah?
Why should you guys be grateful to
Why
Allah?
should anyone be grateful to Allah?
Because He's God. It's the same thing you'll be grateful to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right, but what?
He created you, he created your sight, he created your body, he created your organs,
Yep,
he created you alive,
yep.
and so on and so forth.
So what is it to be grateful? What is gratitude?
To always pray to God.
Always pray to God, yeah.
Pray to God and just be grateful. So don't
Yeah.
complain a lot. over
Brother,
stuff.
can I get a bottle of water, please? Yeah, so
Don't
pray.
complain about it.
Yeah, don't be grumpy. Right, okay, right.
That's it.
Is being grateful an attribute of the created or the creator?
I knew this is going to come to this. What, sorry?
Is being grateful an attribute of the creator or the created?
Come on.
You don't know.
I mean, it's created, maybe.
Take the Dawagandist mindset out for a second and think like a human being.
Right.
Is being grateful an attribute of the creator or the created?
Why is this switch? We were speaking about Islamic empires and Christianity.
Well, we've talked about it, bro.
No.
Well, because I said I wanted to ask you a question,
Go on, then.
right? So I'm asking you, what is being grateful? Is that an attribute? Is it seemly or right that I should thank God or that God should thank me?
You should thank God.
Is it seemly that God should thank me?
No.
Do I do anything that makes God benefit?
No, because there are certain times where you may do something that increases. So, for example, you're a Christian,
Yeah.
Muslims have taken over Spain, you go back and conquer back Spain for Christianity.
And you thank God.
You thank God,
Yeah.
and God will also, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm guessing we'll be happy with
Christians don't believe that we can do anything for God, and therefore God has nothing to be thankful to us for.
So you
But-
can't do anything to
No, you can do nothing that adds to God's glory that He needs to thank you for. Nothing. Because that's the point of monotheism. So now tell me, why is Allah called the thankful?
I need the translation, because you played that game last time and you translated it wrong.
What when you say I translated it wrong?
We-
You don't know, but I
spoke about
translated
last
it wrong.
I spoke about it last time, and then you went to Shamsi. He corrected.
No,
me.
he interrupted our conversation. The inheritor.
Sure, yeah.
The inheritor. And I didn't mistranslate it. I've checked this translation multiple times. It's the word inheritor. It's the word inheritor, bro.
Islamic scholar.
It's the word inheritor.
It's in Arabic. Though.
In the video
can't
himself,
make it English.
Shamsi says inheritor.
Right. But you sound
Shamsi
like-
himself says the word inheritor.
It's an Arabic word, bro.
Right.
You can't translate it directly into English.
So
It's meanings.
what's thankful?
Thankful.
Yes.
No, but-
Allah is described as
Arabic word.
thankful as one of his
Arabic
99
word.
names. Is that
Arabic
true or
word.
false? Is that true or false?
Yeah.
Right. Who's
Arabic word.
Allah got to be thankful to?
Arabic word.
Who's Allah got to be thankful to?
No. What's the Arabic word?
Right, let's pull it up. Okay, let's pull it up. Get out your Quran.
Quran, it's not in the Quran.
It is in the Quran, actually. Yes, it's in the Quran, bro.
I know.
Right.
That's right.
So it says in,
What's the Arabic word? I need the Arabic word, the Arabic thing.
yeah, go to Surah 35:30.
Surah 35:30. Alright,
That he may give them in full their rewards and increase for them of his bounty. Indeed, he is forgiving and appreciative. Or thankful.
30. What is it?
35:30.
30.
Now you can speak Arabic, right? So just be honest, does the word thankful or grateful appear in the Arabic?
No, so look, the translations is for he will pay them their need, he will give them even more out of his bounty, for he is often forgiving
And
most ready to appreciate.
appreciate.
To appreciate.
Who does
So
who?
appreciate.
One second. Let's
Can't be
let 1 second.
Another case of you.
1 second.
mistranslating
No,
that
no,
word.
it's
Yeah.
really not.
Yes, yes.
It's really not.
Come on, Bob.
It's really not.
You love mistranslating.
I actually, no, 1 second, right? I'm reading from Iqra Sense, right? It's an Islamic website. They say appreciative,
What in the world
right?
is that,
Let's just,
So some
yeah, it's an
random
Islamic
website.
website. Yes, it's an
I've
Islamic.
never heard of
So, of course, no Muslim. Whenever.
Brother,
33.
Have you ever heard of what?
1 second.
Say the word.
1 second. 33:30.
You have to listen.
33:30. Yeah, anyone with a beard must be a Muslim, because Muslims have copyrights on beards. Yeah. 33:30. Right? Let's go there. So in 33:30.
33:30 now. So is that not?
Sorry, is that not what I said? I'm sure I said 33:30.
And it says-
Yes, 33:30. Yeah, bro. Like,
Alright, clap down.
ugh, mia madre. Hold on 1 second.
Anyways, it says most ready to appreciate. So God can of course appreciate you, right? Because He can be happy with you.
1 second.
He can appreciate your service just as a king would appreciate.
So your Allah has emotions.
No, He's ready to appreciate. So can be happy. Your God can be angry. What the hell is
Hold on,
wrong
1
with
second,
you?
1 second, 1
Your
second.
God can
1
be
second.
angry.
You're saying, is Allah subject to emotions?
100%.
Allah can
God
have
can have
emotions.
emotions,
So Allah is changeable.
Sorry?
Allah is
He
changeable.
has emotions regarding
He's
to the
changeable then.
person, to the person.
Right, hold on 1
Right?
second.
So in the Day of Judgment, there's a hadith that says he's very angry, and even a prophet would be scared of him because he's in such anger.
Right, bear with us 1 second, because I'm having problems finding this passage on Quran.com. Like, why are you getting upset? I'm using.
I'm laughing. Come on, bro.
Right, come on, man. Let me just get this 33. Joder. Right, 1 second. Joder, man. Oh, smartphone, stop being smart. Seriously.
So, Bob, why are you like looking for this? Do you have problems with Muslims?
Right.
Has it ever happened? As you're looking for it?
So, no, I don't have problems with Muslims. I've had problems with individual Muslims. I got a lot of problems with the Islamists. I think they need to be dealt with, and dealt with harshly.
Which is
Right, 1 second.
like, well, people that fight, you mean?
33. Oh, good there. Bear with us. I'm a man, I can't multitask. We said 33:30, right?
Yes. No, it was
Or was it 30:33?
35-30. Yeah.
35:30. Good there.
Where's Joseph? Why is he not coming?
Surah 35.
I've answered the question. Come on, man.
35.
Where's
30,
Joseph? Where's your friend?
35.
Why not?
30.
Yeah, he's scared, isn't he? Come on.
And that must fill you with pleasure.
No,
It must fill you with pleasure that he might be scared.
I wanted to come and speak to him.
Good there.
Come on, man.
Right, sorry, I'm just wrestling with
On the
Quran.com.
day
1
where
second.
Something significant happened, he's not here. Come on.
33, 35, 30. Right, now let's just pull up different translations.
The first translation didn't work for you.
No, it said appreciative, which is what I said initially. It's what I said initially. What is going on here, man?
But we're getting caught in the translation.
No. I want to show you something. Bear with us 1 second. Because when there is a dispute, when there is a dispute, so let's pull up different translations.
Okay, it says is often forgiven and most ready to appreciate. Anyway, it's appreciate not.
Right, you were the one that accused me of mistranslating when I said appreciative.
Which is not most ready to appreciate.
So 1 second. I just want to. It's probably the Iranian guy getting in fights again.
It's still in your...
Right, so let's look at different translations of the text.
So that just means he's happy with you. God can be happy with a person.
Right, most appreciative. Hold on 1 second. Fadel Solomon, Bridges translation, says forgiving. Fadel Solomon, Bridges translation,
Who the hell is that?
translates it as forgiving, ever thankful.
Solomon.
Sahih International says appreciative. Marif, very appreciative. Marif Ul Quran, very appreciative. Dr. Ghali says ever thankful. Yeah. Then Mohammed Taqi Uddin, most ready to appreciate.
Thank you very much.
So
Most ready to appreciate.
so what we've but the fact is, thankful is an accurate translation. Yes.
By whom again?
Yes, Dr. Ghali.
Who's that?
Fadel Solomon. Who's yours?
The guy that you said now.
Exactly. So we can both play that game, bro. So both appreciative, thank you. Both appreciative. Do you want? I haven't touched it yet. All right. Both appreciative and thankful are accurate translations. Thank you, sure. Thank you, sure. Thank you.
No. My translation.
So who does Allah have to be thankful to?
Most appreciative.
So Allah, you can do something that Allah can be appreciative. Allah, I've given you two. I've given you two.
Where?
Do you want? Shall we pull up more?
Thankful.
Shall we pull up more? Let's pull up more. Because
Thankful isn't there.
yes, it is.
Where? Please.
I literally just read it to you.
Show it to me again, please.
1 second. Let's pull up more translations.
Because it's not there.
Yeah, no, I literally just read two to you that translated it in that way. So let's put in that one. Let's put in that one. Let's put in that one.
To speak to you for 5 minutes. It's been an hour.
Yeah, it hasn't been an hour. Stop being a baby. It's nice to see you. You're looking well. And I'm glad that you're looking well. You know why? Because I don't hate Muslims, as much as other people might tell you that I do. Right. So let's go back through all the translations, right? And we'll see.
By the way, you do realize I can reject translations, especially if it's by some Donny that I don't know, right?
Right.
You said
Dr. Mustafa Katab states most appreciative.
That's my
Fadl Solomon says ever thankful. Fadl Solomon.
Bob, please. Who's that?
Right. So Fadl Solomon. Fadl Solomon. Yeah.
Suleiman.
Yes, Solomon. That's what it says. Fadl Solomon.
Solomon itself isn't an Islamic name.
So, does every Muslim have an Islamic name?
No.
Is this Quran.com?
Could easily be.
Are you saying that Quran.com is putting up translations by non-Muslims?
Yes, it might. Who
Right.
knows?
Great. You now prove to me that Fadl Solomon isn't a Muslim.
No, I didn't say that. I said
Right.
it might. Right?
Yeah, and it might not be. Right?
Not be Muslim,
Let's
right?
continue. You know what that's called? It's called grasping at straws. Right? Abridged explanation of the translation says an appreciating of their good actions. Sahih International says appreciative. Marif ul Quran says very appreciative. Mufti Tak Osmani says very appreciative. Dr. Ghali says thankful. Abdul Halim says appreciative. Tafhim ul Quran Abdul Allah Maududi appreciative. Pictol says responsive. That's devastating. Responsive, that's devastating. Yusuf Pictol, he was a guy that converted to Islam. English, Yusuf Ali says most ready to appreciate. Ruad Center, most appreciative. Dr. T.B. Irving, appreciative. Mohammed Taqul-Din Al-Hilali and Mohammed Mushin Khan, most ready to appreciate good deeds and to recompense. Maulana Wahiduddin Khan, and appreciative. Right, so firstly, I'm going to follow the principle of going by what the majority say. Right, which is the principle is that most say appreciative, so from there I'll continue with my argument. I just want to point out that thankful is a legitimate translation and that Muslims have different translations of the Quran and they disagree about which translations are accurate. But attacking Christians because we got different translations. But now let me ask you this question. Now let me ask you a question. What can you do to Allah that he needs to appreciate you for?
So he can be happy with you, and happy is a form of appreciation. Yes or no?
Happy can be a form of appreciation. That's a property of creatures, not of the uncreated.
God can be happy, he can be sad, he can be angry.
No.
So not sad. He could be happy.
God can be sad. Yeah, all right, fair enough. I'll let you off.
All right, you could be happy with somebody, you could be angry with somebody.
But happy is an
when your God,
yes,
with Noah, right? When he said all that flood, was he angry with the people that did not go in the boat with him?
Yep.
Yes or no?
Right. So I will address that directly. Right. And this is why Christianity is better than Islam. This is why Christianity is better than Islam. Because Christians believe that the Bible is man's word inspired by God. So when it says that God is angry or that God is happy or that God is in love or that God is, appreciative or thankful or whatever, these are men's descriptions inspired by the Spirit of God to communicate something to men.
So it's a man that said.
Let me finish. Yes, inspired by the Spirit of God.
So it's not God's word.
No. Let's not jump around. Let's not jump around because you're trying to run away. You're trying to run away.
I'm just trying to
right? So you're appealing to man's words to defend the problems with the Quranic God self-description. No. Let me ask you this problem. Let me. Why is it? Do you even know why is it problematic to say that God has emotions?
Why is it problematic?
Why is it problematic?
Every emotion. I'm just saying he could be happy with something.
What?
He could be happy with the slave.
Why is that problematic? Why is that problematic?
So you're saying God cannot be happy.
I am saying that God is above emotion.
So you're saying God.
I am saying God doesn't change. He's not subject to change. That there's no shadow of changing in him.
So if you do a good deed, God cannot be happy with you at all.
These are the characteristics of created things. God is above. Right. Well, 1 second. So in happiness in the sense that we're talking about it, in the sense that you're talking about, no, I do not believe that God is happy with me.
So if you do a very
Now let me know. Wait. You're asking questions. I want to ask you a question. This is a two-way thing.
Go on.
Does it not say in your Quran that Allah is not like anything He's in created? So what does it mean to say that God is happy?
So God can be happy.
No, what does it mean to say God is thankful? Because the Quran is saying God is thankful.
Isn't like ours.
So what does that
Anger
mean
isn't
then?
like ours.
So what does it mean?
You don't know because it's
Exactly.
God. Because it is God.
So it's a meaningless word, right?
What?
So it's a meaningless word.
What's a meaningless?
So when the Quran says, as I've shown you, that Allah is the most appreciative, if you're then going to say, well, I said I'd go with the majority. I'm being consistent to my own principles. The reason why I'm being consistent to my own principles is because I pull Muslims up all the time about choosing their translation, and then I always go by what the majority translation says. So I'm just following my own praxis, right? I'm being consistent, something you Dawagandists need to learn from. Now, let me, 1 second, right? Let's be clear. If the Quran on one hand says that Allah is not like anything He has created, but then on the other hand says that He is appreciative of your good works, and then I say to you, well, what does appreciative mean? And you say we don't know, then that means the word appreciative in the Quran is meaningless.
So God can be happy, but His happiness isn't like our happiness. That's how it works.
So what is happiness?
God can do stuff that you can't.
But what's communicated?
Does God have a form?
God
it
is
like our
spirit.
form?
God is spirit.
Right. Is it like our spirit?
No.
Why not?
Right.
What is it?
I'll explain.
Thank you very much.
Great question.
So it could be again.
No,
it
I'll
could be
get a great question.
two-way thing.
No, I'm going to deal with that. I am going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with that. Because, as I've already said, we believe, this is why Christianity is better than Islam, is that Christians believe that the words in the Bible are men's words inspired by the Spirit of God. Right? Let me finish. So when it says God is spirit, now in the new when it's talking, the way that word, you've got to look at how that word is used in its historical context. I.e., it's talking about a substance. That God has a substance. Yes, God is a substance. The divinity is a substance, yes. Right? So no, that's not what a substance is. A substance is a being, a form of being. So when it says, shall I answer your question? Do you want me to answer your question?
No, but it's just.
Shall I answer your question or not? Shall I answer your question or not? Shall I answer your question? So when it says God is spirit, it's saying that He is non-material, that He isn't a numinal or phenomenological entity. So that's what it means by God is spirit, that He is the divine substance. He is something outside of creation. Now, one second, because the Christian faith, as I say, says that these men are using men's words to communicate with men. So you've got to understand how it's used historically. Bro, can you take that conversation that way? Right?
He's your friend, man.
He is my friend, but I will take that conversation over there. Right? So my point to you is, your Quran says it's clear guidance, correct?
Yes.
That it's clear Arabic, yes? But we're identifying in the Quran meaningless words that don't so what is communicated by the word Allah is appreciative? Tell me what that means.
Can I be happy with you and appreciative because I'm happy with you? Yes or no?
You, a created being, can, yes.
Sure.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
God has the same exact thing, but
Exact thing.
But it's in a way that is not like us. That's it. If he's
So-
happy, his happiness isn't the same as your happiness. Same as your God has his spirit or something.
Did you hear the contradiction in your own words? Did you hear the contradiction in your own
I
words?
said exact.
You said, on one hand, Allah has the same thing in the same exact way, and then you said, but not in the way that we, for us. So is it the same exact way or not?
Allow me to speak. His happiness isn't like our happiness. His anger isn't like our anger. That's how it works.
So what is his
Your
happiness?
God's spirit isn't the same
So
as your
what happens?
Is your God's spirit the same as your spirit or not?
In the sense that I have a substance?
No,
Yes. In the sense that God has a substance?
You have the same as God.
So I'm going to address that very point. See, I'm not running from the topic and I'm not dancing. Okay, no, not yet, right? So when we say that we have a spirit,
Yes.
what we're saying is that we have a characteristic. Now, the word spirit when it was talking about the created things, again, it's talking of a substance.
So is
It's
your
talking of a
one
substance. So let me finish. You can, yeah.
It's just a
So
quick statement. That's
exactly,
it, I'm fine.
exactly. It's a substance. When it says that God has a spirit, it's a substance. When the ancients talked about spirit, they thought of it as almost like a material property. So that is how the ancients thought about spirit, bro. I'm educating you now. They thought about it like it was a material property.
Who are the ancients?
The ancients, just Greco-Roman culture, right? So when Scripture is talking into that context, you've got to understand it's men communicating to men by the inspiration of God's Spirit to communicate things about God. In the doctrine of analogy, which is there in Augustine, which is there in Thomas Aquinas, Christians have a belief that words fail. And we understand that, we accept that. But you have to agree with everything the Quran says about itself. And the Quran says it is clear guidance. The Quran says it explains, people in the audience can decide. The Quran says that it is an explanation of all things. The Quran says that it is clear guidance and clear Arabic. So then when I point out to you that the Quran describes Allah as appreciative, you then fall into a logical contradiction because you say that that word appreciative means something that we must understand, but then anything that I say, well, what do we understand about it? You say, well, it's not that. And that is a problem. So I'll ask you again, what does it mean to say that Allah appreciates what you do? What does that mean?
One thing. I've asked you a question, you did not answer, have you, Rob? I said,
I think I did.
Your substance the same as the substance of God?
No.
No. So what is it?
Right. So a substance is a form of being. Let me finish. A form of being. And I'm not going to let you get away with dodging the problem that I've presented to you in the Quran, but a form of being. So that means that I have a form of being. What is that? It is to be a physical body that has a spirit in that body, that has a mortal life, that will that is dependent upon necessary needs like food and so on. God has a substance, he has an essence, and we say as Christians that that essence is unknowable. Yeah. Now hold on one second. Let me finish. Let me finish. No, hold on. That's not the same. That isn't the same. Because I said I have a substance.
Yes.
I said that God has a substance.
I said God is happy.
Right. Hold on one second. But the word happy is the word appreciative is relational.
Relational between a person, yes?
Between persons, correct?
Which means if you
Yeah.
do good
So now hold on. Now answer the question. No, 1 second. No, 1 second. No. Are you just going to try and talk over me?
Sorry, go on.
So you're saying that Allah is appreciative, but then you're saying that anything you can think or imagine by the word appreciative, it's not that. Is that correct?
No.
So therefore, if you're not saying that, so you can tell me what is being communicated when we say that Allah is appreciative. Tell me what it means.
Same as in your book, when God...
Same.
Noah
Go
was in
on.
his
My
ark-
man-made, man-written book.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
It's cool.
So the Quran is no better than a man-made book.
No,
Brilliant.
because I'm
Thank
showing
you. Thank
your
you.
hypocrisy.
Thank you.
Yes, because
Thank you.
You believe in a thing. But
No,
when I
you're still
believe
not
in
answering my question.
No.
What does
It's in your book.
appreciative? What does appreciative
Noah,
mean?
When he was inside of his ark, and all the people that haven't joined them, God was very angry. That's the reason why he flooded the entire earth and killed all of them.
Yes.
Was God angry then?
Right. So I'll
Was
go.
God angry, please?
No. Wait. Asking a question to answer a question is not an answer to the question.
That's my answer.
I asked you a question,
Right.
and you said,
I'm answering with
1
a
second, you said that you were not saying that by the word appreciative, it isn't a denial of everything you can think and imagine, which means that we can think or imagine what appreciative means. So now I'm asking you to explain to me, what does the Quran say when it says that Allah is appreciative? What does it mean? Don't ask another question. Don't talk about the Bible. Answer the question. We'll come to the Bible next. But yes, we will. You know I will. I don't need to run away from you. I got your beat. So